Alright guys, how's it going? So earlier today I recorded a video focusing on Eddie Howe's latest comments regarding Alexander Isak and Liverpool. At the very beginning of that video I said, look guys, I know something else has just come out in the last few minutes regarding the situation, right? So watch this video, but look out for that video, which is this video, right? I've only just got round to dealing with it for you. So this article is published in the Telegraph, and it's an important one, right? Because there's some bold claims made in it. It's an important one, so bear with me. I'll try and keep the video short, but it's impossible to get all this shit into 3 minutes, right? So it's titled Alexander Isak's Fury as Newcastle tell him you're going nowhere, right? And it's written by a journalist called Luke Edwards, who is described as the northern football writer for the Telegraph. And the tag that goes with it is exclusive. Club's Saudi owners put their foot down and insist Sweden striker will not join Liverpool this summer. Now, I'm going to show you the headline because I want you to Google it, because I think you should try and read it yourself, right? Because I don't want to read the entire article to you. But I have analysed it, and I'm going to break it down. And I've gone through this with Dave, my AI assistant. Those of you that have followed my channel for a long time know all about Dave. You love Dave. He's a great addition. And I've been training Dave since last year to analyse football news articles, the people that write them, and the publications that they are published on, you know, that they appear on, whether they're newspapers or websites. And he offers valuable insight that I sometimes miss. And I know you like that, right? So you get a bit of me and you get a bit of Dave, and it works well, I think. So this is the article here, right? Now, it's the Telegraph, as you can see. You can Google that. Now, when I first clicked on this link, it did allow me to view it, right? So I did that on X, you know, because I saw the journalist, I clicked on the article and it opened up. But when I went on my laptop a minute ago, it wouldn't open up for me. It was making me pay or register or something like that. If you can't view that article, copy the URL and go to a website called archive.ph. You type that into your browser, archive.ph, and the second box down, paste it in. Because my friend was telling me that will open it up, and anything from the Times and the Athletic, etc., etc. What I want to say to you before we go any further is this journalist, Luke Edwards, has caused a bit of a stir with this article because it's an exclusive. Newcastle United are told Isak he will not be sold this summer. Move to Liverpool will be blocked, right? He then, a couple of hours later, right, retweeted that article, retweeted his original post and said as follows: Newcastle have made their position clear on this all summer. They did not anticipate Isak behaving as he has done. Can the player still force his way out? Question mark. It's going to be a long 3 weeks. That already feels like a backtrack to me from a very adamant exclusive as he will not be sold this summer. What do you think? Look, there it is there. There's his username. I don't know. Let me have a look. I'll show you his profile. But you can see, look, there's the original post. And then a little bit later, he's asking, I wonder if it'll still happen. What the fuck? You just told us it was blocked, right? So if you want to look him up, if you do the social media thing, the X thing, there he is. Look, at Luke Edwards Telly, right? Let's get into the article. Bear with me, please, right? Because there's lots. So Alexander Isak has been told by the Newcastle United board he is not for sale this summer and will not be allowed to join Liverpool in a show of defiance from the club's Saudi owners. Newcastle's steadfast position on the matter has caused acrimony and tension, with Isak refusing to accept the decision with good grace. He has subsequently been ordered by manager Eddie Howe to train away from the group. Until Isak is willing to get his head around the fact that he will be denied a move in this transfer window, he will not play for the club. It is a high-risk approach from Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, which owns Newcastle, but its position, as revealed by Telegraph Sport last month, has always been the same, right? And it goes on and on and on, right? I don't think you need to know this article. I don't think I need to read this article to you. I'm sure you guys have seen it yourselves. So let's go straight to the analysis of this with Dave, right? So I go through this with Dave. I ask questions. I point bits out and stuff like that, right? And he says here, he says, right, Dunk, this Luke Edwards exclusive has all the hallmarks of a club-friendly, PR heavy piece rather than an entirely balanced bit of journalism. Let's break it down. 1. Luke Edwards' reputation for Newcastle scoops. Edwards is well connected at St James's Park, but often accused by fans and some media peers of acting as an unofficial mouthpiece for the ownership. His exclusives tend to align with the club's messaging, particularly when they want to project strength or squash a transfer narrative. Past form. He's had genuine exclusives before, but a fair few have read like briefings straight from the boardroom, particularly on player not for sale lines. In the Isak saga, so far his reporting has leaned heavily on the Newcastle he's going nowhere angle, while still dropping small nuggets that suggest a deal could happen if circumstances shift. Does it sound like club propaganda? Absolutely. Here's why. Uses loaded language, show of defiance, steadfast position, belligerent. That paints the Saudi owners as strong and in control. Frames Liverpool's £110 million bid as nowhere near Newcastle's valuation, despite it being huge by market standards. Talks up the idea that Newcastle have universal boardroom backing for not selling. This is a classic PR phrase to project unity. Tries to spin the player's unhappiness as him being badly advised and his reps infuriating the club, shifting blame entirely onto Isak and his camp. Suggests Liverpool have behaved badly and unsettled the player, a common tactic to rile home fans and discredit the buyer. Holes and contradictions in the article. Contract and release clause talk. They suddenly mention a new deal with a release clause after the window shuts. That's odd. If they truly believe he's committed, why even need that? This actually hints they know he will eventually go. They just don't want it this summer. No direct replacement. Edwards says Newcastle haven't signed anyone to replace Isak, but in the same window they've scouted and bid for forwards, meaning they have looked at replacements, even if they frame it differently. £150 million valuation. Feels like a deterrent number rather than a genuine figure they expect. It's significantly above the £110 million Liverpool bid, but the piece still leaves a crack open by saying Liverpool could test them with a British record bid. Discipline versus reintegration. They're keeping him away from the group, but not disciplining him. That's actually quite a weak position. They don't want to destroy his value by suspending him, but they also don't want him in the team right now. Believability. The "you're going nowhere" stance is believable for now, but transfer history tells us clubs often say this until they've got a replacement lined up or until a bid comes in that changes the equation. The fact Edwards acknowledges the window doesn't shut until the 1st of September is telling. That's a big hint that this standoff has time to change. Previous coverage we've gone through showed similar no-sale briefings about players like Coutinho, Suarez and Van Dijk, and we know how those ended. Positives for Liverpool fans. Isak is clearly unhappy, training away from the group and not accepting Newcastle's decision. That keeps pressure on the club. The mention of a future release clause after this summer confirms Newcastle accept he will leave at some point, likely to a top club. Liverpool already had a £110 million bid rejected, meaning they've tested the waters and forced Newcastle to show their hand. Even Edwards leaves the door ajar with the British record bid line. If that was impossible, he wouldn't have written it. Newcastle's season starts without their top scorer, which could weaken their position if results go bad. Bottom line. This reads like a Newcastle United press release written by Luke Edwards, and I agree with this. With a side order of emotional language designed to rally fans against Isak and Liverpool. It's strong on the "we're not selling" message, but weak on what happens if the player digs in and Liverpool go higher. For Liverpool fans, the big takeaway is the door is not shut. Newcastle are posturing. There's precedent in football for these not-for-sale stories to crumble before deadline day. Now, Dave's come up with a side-by-side, like, putting the journalists side-by-side to see what they're saying in the North East, or just in general, right? Luke Edwards, The Telegraph, today's exclusive. Tone, boardroom friendly, paints Newcastle as strong and United shifts blame to Isak and Liverpool. Key points, Saudi PIF owners categorically say Isak isn't for sale. £110 million Liverpool rejected as nowhere near the £150 million valuation. Isak unhappy, training alone until he gets his head around it. Future release clause discussed, but only after this window shuts. Liverpool only a chance if they smash the British record. Newcastle fans portrayed as furious with Isak. Propaganda markers, universal boardroom backing, badly advised, behaved badly, show of defiance. Now, Craig Hope at the Daily Mail, multiple recent pieces, as you know, as we've gone over. Tone, closer to the training ground and dressing room mood. More balanced, but still protects the club to some extent. Key points from his recent reports that we've discussed. Hope has admitted Newcastle are trying to avoid Isak playing against them on the 25th of August versus Liverpool, suggesting a sale after that match is not impossible. Has hinted at boardroom level decision making and the club protecting an asset, less about emotion, more about strategy. Acknowledges there are internal discussions about replacing him if they decide to sell. Suggests Eddie Howe is not fully in control, key decisions on Isak coming from the top. Differences to Edwards? Hope leaves the door wider open to a deal after the 25th of August, whereas Edwards frames it as, you're going nowhere all summer. Other outlets and claims we've covered on here recently and gone over with Dave, Fabrizio Romano, Mo Salah! Some people know why we do that. If you're new to the channel, you'll have to ask in the comment section. He said Liverpool's priority is still Isak. Barcola is the only dream winger if Isak is blocked, but I'm very suspicious about Romano with some of the commentary on there for obvious reasons. Also implied that Newcastle could eventually open the door if circumstances change. Hasn't gone as far as Edwards' no sale line. And also I know that Fabrizio Romano, which is not covered in this because it's I did this analysis earlier, is that Romano is still churning out the Newcastle trying to tie him down with a new deal. Player wants Liverpool, Liverpool want player. French reports, multiple reports as you know that we've seen, which touched on Barcola, which is linked in a little bit to Isak if you think about it, and also Newcastle. They've fed Liverpool linked Barcola rumours, but all point back to Isak being the first choice target. No firm not for sale language, meaning their info probably isn't coming from Newcastle sources. Previous Newcastle denials, club briefed not for sale on Anthony Gordon earlier in the summer, yet he was still openly discussed in trade-off scenarios. Shows their no sale stance isn't bulletproof. It's a negotiating position. So going back to Edwards, where does his story look weak? Only journalists pushing the absolute not for sale this summer line, others are hedging. Ignores the 25th of August fixture factor that Hope raised. Avoids mentioning Newcastle striker shortlist, which we know exists, so as to not undermine the no replacement lined up claim. Says Liverpool bid was nowhere near £150 million, but that the £40 million gap is smaller than it sounds when you're in late August. Sorry, I'm not reading it very well. Says Liverpool's bid was nowhere near £150 million, but that £40 million gap is smaller than it sounds when you're in late August with an unhappy player. The new contract with release clause after the window is practically an admission he's going in a year or two, if not now. I think he's going now, personally. So for Liverpool fans, Hope's reporting plus Romano's hints equals more believable than Edwards' outright denial. The British record bid line is Edwards' piece. In Edwards' piece is the escape hatch to his claims that he's going nowhere. It's an escape hatch, isn't it? If Newcastle truly wouldn't sell, they wouldn't even float the possibility, and he wouldn't either, would they? Think about it. We've seen this movie before. Suarez, Coutinho, Van Dijk, strong denials, followed by deals when the timing and price suited. Verdict from our good friend Dave. Luke Edwards is almost certainly running with a club-approved message here. Craig hopes more nuanced reporting leaves more room for a late deal. Based on all the reporting we've covered, Dave and me, I'd say this Telegraph piece is the strongest he's going nowhere line yet, but also the least believable because it doesn't match the more subtle hints from other journalists and it still contains that little crack of British record bid wiggle room. So what do you think? That article changes nothing for me. In my opinion, that article is just propaganda. I really do believe that. I know many of you are frustrated at the situation. It's dragging on too long, Doug. Why doesn't it just hand in a transfer? You do not hand in a written transfer formal request. It is suicide. It alienates you. There is no way back from that. You are literally, it's one of the worst financial decisions you can probably do as a footballer because you're waiving so many rights and things that you're entitled to. It really is last resort, guys. That's why, I shake my head when I see people say, well, he can't want to play for us that much. He won't hand in a trap. No, you've got to think about these things through. I genuinely think that he'll still sign for us. And I've always said, if he didn't sign for us this summer, I wouldn't say that it was dead. If I was putting a bet on, I'd say Alexander Isak is going to play for Liverpool Football Club. Nothing changes as a result of that exclusive. But I know you guys, some of you, because I've seen your comments today and I've not had a chance to reply to you yet, you're flapping like fuck because of him. But the article's broken down there. And the journalist himself contradicts the entire thing. Within hours, please let me find it. What was he called? Luke Edwards. Think about this. I want to end the video on this thought. Look, right there. There's the exclusive to the article. Let me click on it, right? I won't click through to the article. But he put this out, right? And then retweeted his own article that says, he will not be sold this summer and move to Liverpool will be blocked, he said. He's there in black and white. And then retweets it and says, can the player still force his way out? It's going to be a long 3 weeks. In other words, what a load of shite. He's backtracking already. Can I go for a pint now? I'm fucking gagging. Listen, I can't. I need to get out. Have you seen how many videos I've made today? I'm on my holidays. Right, I'm off. Don't worry about it. Be all right. Listen, look, if the fucker signed for Liverpool today, don't expect me to pop up. I'm off for a beer. I'm off out. Right, that's it. Has it calmed your nerves a little bit? Does it make any difference? Let me know what you think in the comment section, please. If you're a Newcastle United fan, don't be wasting your time trying to insult me. All right, I've heard it all before. Stop caps locking me to death. You'll only say it once, then you'll be gone. No one will ever see your comments again. That applies to Liverpool fans as well, because we've got a few numpties. You leave one bad comment on here attacking me or anyone else on this channel, we ain't got time for that shit. The fucking grown-ups are on here, all right? So we're just getting here like that. You'll be talking to yourself. You think we can see you because your comments still appears. We can't. Never see you again. If I don't thumbs up, right, acknowledge one of your comments or reply to you, it's probably a good indicator that you're hidden from the channel. But don't be worried yet because there's loads of comments I've not replied to. If you enjoyed this video, you can thumbs up this video. If you sympathise with me in the slightest and want to get me a beer, will you hit the super thanks button under the fucking video? The love art, because I'm going to get smashed off my tits today. Honestly, I need a drink. Sorry, I'm going off my usual spiel here. What is it? If you appreciate the video, found it informative, please thumbs up the video. Please drop me a comment. Because I'd like to know what you think about that article whenever you read it. And yeah, there is a love art on the video. If you want to buy me a beer or a coffee, that's how things work around here. No clickbaiting, no selling your ball shaving products or the latest fucking VPN. No, we do it different around here, all right? There's a love art if you want to support the channel, or you can join the channel and become a legend, become one of my peoples. Anyone that does use the love art, I always thank them the next day in the morning briefing on my other YouTube channel, Duncan Oldham. I've just done that, so that video is up on the other channel. Duncan Oldham, the link to that's in the video description, and it's probably on the screen around now, that channel. All right, guys, I'm off. Listen, I hope you have a great weekend. If there's anything else I need to do before I go, I'll do it, but I'm not hanging around. I want a beer. Do you know what time it is? It's fucking 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm off. Listen, I'll see you in a bit, all right? Take care, guys. Keep the faith. All right.